Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about Goosebump shoes. Okay, so this kind of ties in quite nicely with the owl shoes that I was talking about, owl and super owl shoes, observation shoes, in my previous video. Because this is related to, you know how you get the goosebumps that you have when it's like, oh, I just had the tinglies, you know, some people call it the tinglies. Kids sometimes do it. And it's like, oh, I got goosebumps. I just had you know, my sensation, your intuition kicks in and you're like, my gut feeling was, I knew it. I jolly well knew that they were a dodgy biscuit, what I call a dodgy biscuit, someone who you know, isn't true to form. There was something hinky about that person, you know, something that we just knew was off, but our intuition says, okay, you know what, I'd be getting my guard up. Now, it's so interesting. If you think about it I look at it like animals in the bush. I'm from Africa. I'm from Zimbabwe originally. And man, I tell you what, if you didn't have your intuition highly tuned, you wouldn't live very long. You know, like if you sensed that the lion was out there and you're a zebra, flip, you got to get your game on, you know. If you're going to sit around and go, nah, the lion's not there, the lion's not there. And this is the whole point of wearing these shoes, these Goosebump shoes. You want to have a pair of these shoes. These need to be tuned up big time because so many people do not do this. We have become so desensitized to our inner selves, giving us the heads up about things that we, you know, we look to outside evidence to prove wrong. Others don't question it, so why should I? So if your intuition, if your gut is telling you, look, you know, think about this twice, I don't like the way that person looks at me, or the sensation that I got, or the, you know, whatever it is, then, you know, use them, like run with that, like go, ooh, you know, step back. Don't just go, oh, dismiss, which is what we do tend to do, you know. Like if you were in Africa, if you're in Zimbabwe, you would just get taken out by that lion, man. So, you know, and in life, I think, sad to say, you know, like we get so conditioned and socialized by the herd, and not so much out of the herd's malintent, but sometimes, you know, there's just, you know, it can be politicians, you know, just with their own agendas, and they've got their own best interest at heart. Sometimes not yours. There are politicians, don't get me wrong, that have got all the best intentions, but they'll go, oh, you know, this and this, and then suddenly you see that their behavior doesn't match what they're saying. You know, they're kissing all the babies in order to what? Because they suddenly like babies? Or is it that they're actually wanting your vote? You know, so it's like, if you get a sense that, oh, you know, is that genuine? Then question it. And then there's another pair of shoes that I'll talk about that helps you with that. But it's like, okay, I've got to get my intuition shoes on here. I've got to get my Goosebump shoes on, because that is telling me something is seriously off. So I remember having a person who said to me years ago, this was in London, where this lady was sitting on the tube, and there was this guy who came on, and he was well off. Like she said, she just her intuition, she just went, ooh, this is not good. And yeah, she was really fortunate, because it did turn out that he was yeah, didn't have good intentions, that guy. But she landed up, I think, if I recall correctly, she decided to then get off at the next stop, and there's a crowd of people. He got up, but he then sat down. And that was interesting. I mean, I've had a similar experience as well, where there was this guy. It was very creepy. Oh God, I remember it so clearly. And he used to follow me to the tube station, and he would just stand and stare at me. He was an older guy who wore a long trench coat, and he was really creepy. It was like he seemed to know my routine of when I was going to work. And my concern was, I lived quite far from the station at the time, and I often worked late, and I had to walk home from the tube station on my own. And my concern was that he would be somewhere because he was following me. So I landed up, my goosebumps were saying, this is weird, this is not right. Interesting. I mean, just to follow up on that story, what happened is I landed up going, I started taking Kung Fu classes and I actually spoke to my instructor about it, and I said, look, you know, there's this guy, he follows me all the time, it's really creepy. Ladies, you'll probably know this more than you. Do you know that 85% of women don't feel safe? They don't feel safe, especially if they're on their own in a situation like that. Same, a guy in that position would be, I'll just take him on. But women feel safe. I'm not saying all guys are like that, you know, but they are less likely, they're not consciously aware of being unsafe, guys, you know, whereas women, you know, are more attuned to it, you know, just because of our history, you know, unfortunately. Humans have a lot to answer for in some cases, and then also for the good. Don't get me wrong, I'm very grateful because there is a lot of good in the world as well. But just to finish the story that I had with this particular guy, what happened is very interesting, my Kung Fu guy, and this might be useful for ladies out there if you've ever experienced this or you've ever got the goosebumps about something that's not quite right about someone. He said, challenge him. Actually go public, because half of it is about playing the game. So he said, you know, what you want to do is, as soon as, you know, that playing the game thing of like stalking the prey and they don't know or whatever, when you blow it out, when you blow the game out and bring lots of people and witnesses into it, it now makes them a target, because if anything did happen to you, they now know that you've got all those other people standing on the tube station going, oh yes, I remember that guy in the trench coat, and that, you know, and therefore he could be put away. So that's exactly what I did. He also said, you know, there were other techniques that he showed me, and moves that he showed me for self-defense. And anyway, so that's exactly what I did. I just, one day, I started yelling at this guy from across the crowd. You strange creep, why do you keep following me? This is really weird. Are you a stalker? What's your problem? You know, I can't remember the exact words. Anyway, and he got really freaked out. Like, you could see he was so shocked that I took him on, you know, publicly with a very crowded station, that he started, you know, moving from side to side. He backed up into the crowd. I never saw him again. Never saw him again. So my goosebumps signaled danger. Okay, don't dismiss it. Don't go, oh, you're just imagining stuff. Now that is an extreme case of, like, you know, a stalker, you know, danger physically, you know, sexual predator, whatever. But it's not just that. It's things in media. All the time you have the stuff that comes into the news, and it's like, really? You know, you're saying this is happening, but really my intuition is going, is that right? Is that really? You know, so if you're getting that, don't let it go. Investigate it, use it. This is, your goosebumps are there to protect you. They're there to protect your family. And if you're getting them, it's yourself, your inner source energy going, heads up girl, or heads up chap, something is wrong. Don't dismiss it. And we tend to do this. It's just like, oh, well, no one else thinks that that's a problem. You know, oh, I'm just imagining things, you know. We just brush it off. Don't brush it off. I am saying we need to get so far more in tune. It's even with our health, you know, it's just like, oh, they you know, oh, it's okay. Like, you know, I've got this case at the moment where my hubby, you know, it's a long story, I won't go into it, but I will at some stage, but not today. But anyway, he had this operation, several, and now, you know, he's developed what looks like a hernia as a result. And initially they kind of were like, oh, you know, it's nothing to worry about. And I'm like, mate, this is like huge. It's like, you know, the size of his hand. I mean, you don't even actually have to have goosebumps to figure out that actually there's nothing right about that. Do you know? And I'm just like, okay, actually, no. I'm going, this isn't right. And, you know, I think I mentioned in one of the previous videos about this operation and stuff, where, again, with my hubby, with his second operation, there was a lot that went wrong. And it was my gut instinct. It was my self. It was my angels, my guides, my source, my God source, whatever you want to label it, that my goosebump shoes were saying, something is hinky. You know, he looks like he's pregnant. He's got cramping every several seconds. Something is not right. And as much as I was saying that, they were going, no, it's just all part of it, you know, it's all part of the process. And I'm going, how can that be part of it? You know, it's like, I'm sorry, I don't get that. So fortunately, brave enough, I had my warrior shoes on that went, no, do you know what? I just want you to run a scan. No, we don't need to do a scan. Yes, I'm so sorry. Warrior shoes went back on and went, I'm sorry, but I am not happy. You know, you don't have to get aggressive. You just go, I'm sorry, not okay. My goosebumps are strong enough to tell me something is not right. And I mean, I do kinesiology, which taps into all of that anyway, and it was telling me that something was off as well. So all my evidence was showing to the contrary of what they were saying was actually fine. Now, you need to question in medical, in news, in politics, with relationships. If they're saying one thing and they're doing another, if there's what we call in NLP a mismatch between how they're behaving and how you're feeling, and it's like it's like a jittery feeling that I get in my solar plexus, and it rattles like that, and it's just like not working for me. Now, you might have different sensations in different parts of your body. Be aware of that. There goes, oh, there's my goosebumps, you know, my tinglies going off, and if it's getting louder and louder and louder, and as much as, you know, the media is saying to the contrary, or the news, or the politicians, or the parents, or the partner, or the friend, or the what, you know, whoever it is saying to the contrary, and this is starting to do this, and then it's starting to go like this, you really want to go, there must be a reason for that. How about I take a look at that? So goosebump shoes, absolutely critical. Every single person should have goosebump shoes. They should, you know, use them, wear them as often as possible during the day, and just start questioning, like, you know, oh, but first you've got to tune into that feeling, you know. It's like, let's make use of that. And I just think that people just don't tap that like we used to. I mean, if half of us wouldn't survive in the bush, you know, we get taken out left, right and center, you know. Oh, there goes a leg, forgot to pay attention to that. Oh, there goes an arm. Oh well, you know, I've got the other two, I'll be fine. No, it's all good, people, it's all good. No, it's not. So get your goosebump shoes on. And look, thank you so much. I hope you found that useful, fun, entertaining, insightful. You know, give me some feedback, that would be great. And look, please like, share, subscribe. If you've got any questions or whatever, please feel free to hop over to the Facebook group. It's free, it doesn't cost anything. Yeah, and let's just get chatting all about getting you in your own shoes, ladies, empowering you, taking the next step on your path in the direction that you actually want to go in. Okay, your shoes, your path, your way. All right, thank you so much. Namaste.